2020's been one hell of a weird year so far for obvious reasons, and that's without even really thinking about movies. We've had a Will Smith action throwback and Sonic the freaking Hedgehog dominate the worldwide box office, while the number 3 slot was taken up by this? But it hasn't all been weird or bad. In fact, there's been a ton of great movies released in the first half of this year, especially those released on VOD and streaming services over the last few months. Let's dig in then to the best movies to hit screens both big and small over the last 6 months. And so we begin with number 10, The Outpost. If you can look past the generic title and rubbish poster, The Outpost is an uncommonly gripping war film, focused on a small squad of American soldiers tasked with protecting a remote outpost in Afghanistan. The Outpost manages to be both a pulse-racing action film and a character-driven examination of war's cost. Between its authentic dialogue, Rod Lurie's superb action direction, and a standout performance from Caleb Landry Jones, this just might be the big unexpected surprise of 2020 so far. Number 9, Bad Education. Hugh Jackman gives one of the best performances of his career in Bad Education, playing a school superintendent who eventually gets caught embezzling millions. Jackman is perfectly cast as a very charming man with a very, very dark secret, but what really makes this film so great is its multifaceted exploration of his character. Alison Janney is also fantastic as a fellow embezzler in a film that's as expertly directed as it is acted. Though it premiering on HBO makes it ineligible for the Oscars, Jackman nevertheless gave one of the best performances of the year here. Number 8, The Assistant. The brilliance of this chilly drama about workplace sexual harassment lies in how it explores abuse not through a sensationalist lens, but a deeply mundane one. Julia Garner is terrific as the titular assistant Jane, her subtle and restrained performance perfectly complementing director Kitty Green's formal, stripped-back style. Though unfortunately marketed as far more of a movie filled with high drama and things happening, it's a remarkable depiction of how totally banal terrible events so often are. This couldn't be more timely or relevant, and its great strength lies in how subtle and slight it actually is. Number 7, The Way Back. Could this be the year where Ben Affleck wins a Best Actor Oscar? That remains to be seen, but his performance as an alcoholic former basketball player turned coach is his strongest to date. To call Affleck's performance lived in is to state the obvious, but it's clear that he's bringing so much of his own anguish to the part and bearing his soul for us on the screen. The story has its melodramatic moments, but director Gavin O'Connor keeps things on an even keel and really just lets his star do his thing. It's naturally not the most feel-good of movies, but a fascinating exercise in performance as therapy for Ben Affleck. Number 6, The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is a shining example of what can be achieved when ideas prevail over bloated budgets and the relentless pursuit of cinematic universes. With only a $7 million budget, Leigh Whannell delivers a film as smart and insightful as it is exciting. Elizabeth Moss is brilliant as protagonist Cecilia, a woman who finds herself being stalked by the titular villain in a film which cleverly conflates its high concept with current social issues, namely the struggle of victims to have their abuse taken seriously. It's nothing short of astonishing here what Whannell got out of his low budget. The action and suspense sequences are expertly crafted, and all the way to the end, The Invisible Man remains as provocative as it is entertaining. Number 5, Palm Springs. The time loop movie has been done to death in recent years, but Palm Springs proves there's plenty of life left in the old dog yet. A sweet and uproariously funny rom-com focused on 2 wedding attendees who find themselves trapped in a 24-hour time loop, Palm Springs doesn't waste much time on its setup, focused instead on the sheer off-the-wall absurdity of the central situation. Andy Samberg and especially Kristen Milioti are fantastically on point as the 2 leads, while J.K. Simmons provides some stellar support. What really takes Palm Springs to the next level, however, is a self-aware script which knows you've seen a ton of time loop movies over the years and offers up some smart subversions on the expected formula. In a grim year, this was just the movie I needed, and I think maybe the movie we all need right now. Number 4, The Lodge. The Lodge, on the other hand, is an undeniably discomforting experience as a young woman, played by Riley Keough, cares for her fiancé's 2 children at a remote holiday home. Frequently shocking and distressing, this is nevertheless a superb acting showcase for Keough, who is simply brilliant as a woman who may or may not be unravelling from within. Beautifully filmed and directed with stark restraint, it drips with atmosphere from its every pore. You'll definitely want something happy to watch afterwards though, maybe Palm Springs. Number 3. The Five Bloods. Spike Lee's Netflix original film is undoubtedly one of the most important films of the year. A soul-wrenching document of 4 aging Vietnam vets who return to Vietnam in pursuit of buried treasure, The Five Bloods brings with it a unique emotional power, slipping effortlessly between genres and visual styles as it tells a totally unique and necessary war story. Delroy Lindo is the easy standout here, with a performance damn near guaranteed to net him a Best Supporting Actor Oscar nomination, but the entire cast brings their A-game throughout. While its beefy runtime and surreal excesses won't win Lee any new fans, it's another hypnotic and unforgettable effort from the legendary filmmaker. Number 2. Relic. Relic is simply the best horror film of 2020 so far. Emily Mortimer stars as a woman who returns home after her mother goes missing, kickstarting an increasingly disturbing series of events. If it's all too easy to compare Relic to Hereditary, it's certainly a label that fits. Both films find a way to match their genre thrills with devastating humanity, and neither pulls any punches in the visceral stakes whatsoever. Emily Mortimer and Bella Heathcote are terrific as the central mother-daughter pairing, but it's Robin Nevin who steals the movie as their troubled mother and grandmother respectively, Edna. Without spoiling anything, the third act of this movie will stick with you for a long, long time. And finally, number 1. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always follows 2 teenage girls who travel to New York City in order for one of them to get an abortion. Eliza Hittman's movie is a completely shattering indictment of the issues with abortion access in America, a deeply upsetting yet vital document of how thoroughly the system fails young women in particular. In what's surely one of the strongest debut performances in years, Sydney Flanagan is astonishing as protagonist Autumn, turning in a brilliantly understated performance that's honestly probably a bit too good for the Oscars. Hittman's filmmaking boasts an uncommon restraint, and despite the ugly issues it wrestles with, the film is absolutely beautiful to look at. Don't miss it. And so, that's our rundown of the top 10 films of 2020, 6 months in. Hopefully the rest of the year will be just as packed with quality releases, if not more so. So, thank you for viewing, and of course, do like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. But what about you? What are your favourite movies of the year so far? Do you agree or disagree with our top 10? Let us know in the comments, and keep your eyes on the myth that is flickering.